Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Miss Earth Crown page. Of course, this is your host, Noy Sabelano, the chief correspondent of Miss Earth Crown, and we have here a special guest, Dexter the King Kitty is here. I'm so happy that you're here, everyone. Dito ko muna, Dexter, ha? It's a Sunday evening, which we're going to make it more beautiful because we have this is episode 4, all right? Episode 4 of our special coverage of Miss Philippines Earth with two of our candidates for 2021. Alright, so bago tayo magsimula, I'd like to say hi to all of the fans right now. Maraming salamat for tuning in this Sunday evening. We already have a lot of comments coming in. I'm just going to show them a little bit. But now, I think it's the time for us to introduce our special guests for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce first our Eco Warrior. I'm getting the hashtags from the fans here. Eco Warrior of Dumaguete City. Let's all welcome Krisha Hamzirani. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Krisha.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
Sir Roy, and good evening, everyone.
There you go. Napakaganda naman ni Krisha ngayong Sunday evening. How are you doing right now? How is everything with you?
Well, despite the heavy rains here, I'm really good,
Mm.
and it's really an honor, sir. So thank you so much for having me tonight.
Definitely, of course. And of course, we have just one but two candidates for Miss
Yes.
Philippines Earth. From Dumaguete, pumunta naman tayo sa one of the most beautiful places in the Philippines, El Nido, Palawan. Let's all welcome our Eco Warrior from El Nido, Palawan. Let me just try to get that. There you go, si Dana Yaparcon.
Hello
Hello,
po,
Dana.
Sir Noy.
There. Ikaw naman, Dina, kamusta ka naman right now? How is El Nido, Palawan?
I'm good po. Currently, we're on MECQ. Yes.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All
Stay
right.
at
So,
home lang.
yes, definitely. And I'm so happy that you are taking your time to guest in our Miss Earth Crown interviews for Miss Philippines Earth. I'm going to have a spot with the two delegates individually. Pero allow me to read some of the comments. So, kasi ang dami ng comments. Marami ng shoutouts coming from the fans right now. So let us get this thing. Oh, sorry. Nawala si Krisha. Add to stream. Okay. Let's get this thing started. We have here someone, Go Dumaguete from Tin Sindyong. Hello,
Oh,
Tin. Ayan.
hi, madam.
Ayan. So definitely, ang dami nating mga ng mga fans coming from different parts of the Philippines. You also have here someone from still from from Dumaguete pa rin, si Kim Hamzirani. Someone familiar?
Oh, my sister, very supportive sister. Hello.
Wow, nga, very supportive nga ang sister. Nakakatuwa naman. Siyempre naman, ang mga tiga Palawan hindi rin magpapatalo because there are fans coming from Palawan. This is coming from Rain or Rain. He or she said,
Hi,
"Go
Rain.
Palawan." There you go. Okay. Also have your coming from the different fans from the Philippines. You also have people coming from the US. Okay, pero let me allow me to
Wow.
read this one. Another one for El Nido. Si Elaine, what's the name? Elaine Visabella. Hi, Elaine.
She's my
Ayan.
friend po. Hi,
Yeah, talagang
Elaine.
there you go. And of course, meron tayong coming from different parts of the world. We also have viewers from the United States. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for tuning in. But now I'm going to leave the comments section for now because we're going to have like a spot segment with each of the candidates, starting with our beautiful candidate from Dumaguete. All right. So in a little bit, si Dana naman ang aking interview. All right. So Dana, you may relax first, and let's have this
Bye.
segment
See you
for
later.
bye. Also, this segment from our lovely candidate from Dumaguete, si Sandy. All right.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to start with that. That's actually one of our icebreakers because I was kind of confused a while ago na
Mm-hmm.
Sandy and then your name is kind of different, kind of really far from your full name. Like, can you tell us a story behind that?
Well, actually, my full name is May Alexandra Krija. So that's
Mm.
why I used Krija because we just needed to have not really one, but Miss Philippines Earth told us to just choose one or
Mm.
something that people will remember us with our name. But my nickname is really Sandy. So I'm mostly known as
Mm.
Sandy. Yeah, so that's why.
Interesting. Saan ang galing yung Sandy? Because again, that's very far off from your full name.
Yeah.
Kasi, di ba, everything starts with a name, so that's kind of interesting. What is the story behind your nickname, Sandy?
Well, actually, a lot of people ask me that. Where is Sandy in your name? But
Correct.
it's actually from Alexandra. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's like Alexandra Sandy. That's actually my grandmother named me Sandy, so that's why.
There you go. And of course, Sandy. I'm gonna call you Sandy from now on.
Oh,
Can
sure.
you tell us? Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about how was Sandy growing up? I mean, what is
Mhm.
Sandy like as a little kid? From the time that you were just like studying, as a young student, up until
Yeah.
before you became interested in beauty pageants. Ano yung buhay ni Sandy, quote unquote?
Actually, that's a good one because
Mm-hmm.
even ako, I'm very surprised that I am here now in Miss Philippines Earth because
Mm-hmm.
looking back, growing up, I am kind of like a boyish one, I would say. Sobrang boyish ako. I love boy stuff. I love playing with boys, boy toys like cars, making yung branches ng mga banana trunks. I know how to make guns out of it. And then my
Wow.
playmates are usually boys. So when I was in first year high school, it was parang hindi talaga, I don't want to join the pageant in our school, but I needed to because my teacher told me that if you're not going to join, I'm going to drop you. So I really, I just go on with it. And then afterwards, honestly, my outlook about pageantry when I started joining really changed. Because before, I
Wow.
just really thought that beauty pageants are just, for showing off what you have physically, your talents.
Mm-hmm.
But now, when I got the chance to be a part of pageants locally, I was given an opportunity to really extend help doing outreach programs and also becoming a voice to others as well.
So
So
ikaw pala,
parang,
yeah. Ikaw pala yung
yeah,
tinatawag natin na parang reluctant beauty queen, so to say, at the beginning, right?
yeah, I would
Um,
say talaga. Like the
yeah.
very first time I used face powder was when I was in fourth year high school talaga. Before, I don't care about my looks. Even ngayon, like normal lang. Normal lang talaga. I'm not that
Mm,
typical, like really know how to do everything in her face. I'm just kind of like a laid back one.
yeah. Pero tingnan naman, ladies and gentlemen, mga fans, ito lang daw po siya. Napaka-beautiful and in a Sunday evening. Napakaganda naman ni Sandy tonight. But
Woke up like this.
yes, aside from of course your childhood and growing up, exactly, you grew up in Dumaguete or did you spend a lot of your time in other places? Can you tell us the story behind that?
Oh yes. Actually, I grew up in a more rural area compared to Dumaguete.
Mm.
It's actually 111 kilometers south from Dumaguete City, Bayawan
Mm.
City. I grew up in Bayawan City, so that's where I was born and raised. And after graduating high school, I transferred to Dumaguete City to study at the university. And from there, Dumaguete really became my second home because of I met a lot of Dumagueteños there and they really welcomed me. My friends became my family, my second home. That's why now, last 2019, I joined Miss Dumaguete, and with God's grace,
Wow.
I became the Miss Dumaguete, and now I am representing Dumaguete to the Miss Philippines Earth pageant.
Wow, that's a really great story. I mean, from falling in love with Dumaguete and being a reluctant beauty queen from the
Yeah.
beginning, parang everything is falling into places for you for you to be here in Miss Philippines Earth 2021. That's right.
Yeah, I know. Even like if like 2 years ago, I never thought I would be here.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even thought of joining another pageant after like over 5 years because I stopped joining pageants. My last pageant before Miss Dumaguete was around 2016. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
2015, yeah. And then I never thought I would join Miss Philippines Earth. And yeah, you're right. Probably, the stars aligned. That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly, and it's really great for us to have this time to like get to know you a little bit more. One last question before I turn the tables and give it to our other delegate, si Dana. I have one question exactly. If you talk about Dumaguete,
Mhm.
of course, people a lot of people know about Dumaguete, but what is one thing about Dumaguete that most people do not know about that you
Uh-huh.
want to reveal or you want to like tell everyone?
I'm not, I don't want to like sound very pageant-ish, but honestly, it's the Dumagueteños. It's the people. Because Rizal Boulevard, you can look that up to Google, San Serval or Silvanes. I don't know if you heard about it, sir, but it's one of the
Mm-hmm.
most famous food in Dumaguete. We also have the cathedral, bell tower. You can look that up in the internet. But I would
Mm-hmm.
say that when you go to Dumaguete, it's really the people that makes it an amazing city. It's truly
Mm-hmm.
the city of gentle people. That's why I really fell in love with it. Like, after all, the people is the heart of the city. It is what makes it a city.
That's really great. And that's something that we would keep in mind if you want to go to Dumaguete.
Yeah.
It's all about the people. All right. Um,
Yes.
Sandy, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit more, but thank you so
Okay,
much
sir.
for that intro chat with you. It's so lovely. Now let's now have our lovely candidate from El Nido, Palawan. So I'm gonna say bye bye for now, kay
See you
Sandy.
later.
All right. Now let's have the floor for El Nido, Palawan. All right. There you go, Dana. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Dana. Sige, Krisha, is it okay if you like, let's go backstage first so
Yeah.
that we have a spot with, there you go, there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is now the time for us to know a little bit more about Dana. And I see Dana from El Nido, Palawan. Dana, kamusta? How is life treating you during this time of the pandemic? How is life so far for you?
Well, Thank you po. Well, actually po, it has been hard for me, especially in this time of pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to cope up with it, especially in my studies since I'm still studying. And
Oh,
the online learning, yes, it's not really easy. It's hard po, lalo na it's online and lalo na yung kalaban namin is the internet.
exactly. So wait, you're still a student. So
Yes,
exactly anong ano ka like high school or college student?
college student po, first year college.
My gosh, that's barely high school, senior high school. And then what are you taking up as a course in first year?
I'm I'm taking up po a Bachelor of Science in Tourism Management at
There.
STI College.
Wow, there you go. Alam mo, perfect yung course mo because tourism management, we are gonna talk about, I think, one of the most beautiful places in the Philippines, bar none. I mean, El
Yeah.
Nido, Palawan is just, breathtaking and everything. Dana, I'd like to find out, how was Dana like growing in such, I'm not too sure if you grew up in El Nido, Palawan your entire life, but then yung mga snippets or different little details or little memories of what you had during your childhood in El Nido, Palawan. Can you share us a little bit about that?
Well, yes po. I was actually born at Dumaguete City. Yes.
Oh,
But
okay.
just lived from places to places po kasi
Mm-hmm,
when I
mm-hmm,
was young.
mm-hmm,
And I've actually had a rough childhood,
mm-hmm,
rough childhood days. There are a lot of memories actually with lalo na mga childhood friends ko na hindi ko na po nakikita ng matagal na since kasi we've already left from Cebu and we lived here now at Puerto Princesa. And also sa El Nido, yes. I actually love going to the beaches. Yes, I've been like an island girl, a beach girl. Yes, a beach bud, and
mm-hmm,
I really loved going there since I was young, and because of the scenery. Yes, the cool breeze of the ocean. It
mm-hmm.
and playing in the sand with my childhood friends. It's really one of the best things that I've experienced.
Wow, there you go. Alam mo, napaka-interesting ng mga stories na binibigay ninyo both ni ano no ni Sandy and of course you. Um, I now have a question regarding, of course, how did you end up like joining pageants? Because island girl ka, I mean, you are fond of the outdoors. I mean, was there any coercion or merong force ba na ginawa ang mga parents or mga people around you like kay Sandy? Anong story naman ng pageant for you?
Well, nung kinder po ako, yes.
Mm.
Kinder, yes. I was 5 years old that time, kinder one. And then I actually joined Little Miss Puerto. Yes,
Wow.
my mom forced me to join there, and
Diyos
I
ko.
remember that I was crying on the stage. I
Oh
even
my God,
ran.
traumatic.
Yes po. And then after that, we actually left Palawan, and then we
Mm,
lived at Cebu for
mm,
for 3 years. And
mm.
then for that years, there has been an agents or model agents that have been coming to our school that
Okay.
has been recruiting models, and I've been joining there, and I've always been recruited, but my dad won't let me join. Yes,
Oh, okay.
sadly. And after those years, I've still pursued to join modeling pageants, and then when we came here at Palawan again, that's the time that on my high school days, grade 7, since grade 10 of fourth year high school,
Mhm.
I've been independent. I've been joining beauty pageants independently without my parents knowing, without their
Mm.
support. I've
Wow.
already I've just had the support of my classmates, my friends, and my teachers. And then my mom saw that I really love joining beauty pageants, and
Mm.
since she already let me join the Little Miss Puerto,
Okay.
I think she saw that potential in me ever since I was young.
Mm.
So uh, after that, grade 11, that's the time that I came out publicly.
Mm.
She supported me. My dad supported me all throughout my beauty pageant journey.
Galing naman. So, from the time na pinorse ka, naging traumatic experience, naging turning point din para sa'yo because tignan mo, eventually, ikaw na rin, parang sariling sikap mo na rin yung pagsali sa mga beauty pageants without your parents knowing about it, right? One last question, Dana, before I bring over si Sandy for us to have a chit chat tayong tatlo. I have a question regarding that exactly na shinare mo about your pageant story na at first hindi ka talaga into pageants but then eventually you learn to love it. For example, there is like a little kid who's going to like a like a young girl na 9-year old or 8-year old kid na is interested in joining pageants. I mean, what would be that like a message or like pep talk na pwedeng ibigay din sa little girl na posibleng mangyari din sa kanina nangyari sa'yo in life?
Well, what I could say to her, or my advice would be to enjoy it, to enjoy life as it is. And if you really want to join beauty pageants, if you really want to become a model, then I suggest that you really pursue it, even if your parents won't let you. So,
Mm-hmm.
because eventually, time and time, it will really hone and enhance you when you join beauty pageants, even on just your own. And then, when the time come, then your parents, or not maybe really, your parents will really support you on what you really love to do and what you really wanted to do in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There you go. Napakaganda naman ng message yun for a little girl. Maraming salamat, Dana. And thank you for sharing that little bit of your story about your life, about your pageant story. But now I think it's time for us to have like a roundtable discussion, tayong tatlo, with, of course, Dana. Dana, si Sandy. Sandy, hello. Are you there? Let's bring
Yes,
back. There you
hello.
go. Sandy, tiga Dumaguete pala siya dati. Si
Kaya
ano,
nga,
did you know?
I
Did you
heard
know?
her.
Yeah, okay. So
I
meron
did
pala
not
kayong,
know.
yeah, meron pala kayong connection, so to say, no? Na hindi
Yeah,
na nalalaman, di ba?
kaya nga.
There. Really great to know. Now, of course, we already talked about your life, your childhood, your pageant story, how you started with pageantry. Now it's time for us to talk about what exactly you want to accomplish as a candidate to Miss Philippines Earth 2021. Okay, well, definitely, it's a really great cause, but I want to find out what exactly you want to maybe you can share with us kung anong talagang gusto nyong i-pursue as an advocacy if ever you win the title of Miss Philippines World. Let's start with Sandy. I mean, advocacy that you have chosen to
Oh,
work on.
I actually chose a sustainable agricultural practices for food security.
Mm-hmm.
Like as
Oh.
I said, kanina, I grew up in a rural area, and then
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards I transferred to a more urbanized area. So somehow I kind of lived to both worlds,
Mm-hmm.
rural and urban. And at the same time, I really was able to see the difference when it comes to food production, yung food security. So
Correct.
I kind of like gotten the idea of sustainable agricultural practices for food security sa hometown ko, sa Bayawan. And of course, especially here in the Philippines, our food systems are somehow interconnected to each other. And
Correct.
imagine one major problem or any like supple flood that could affect one region. That one
Mm-hmm.
problem can actually affect the food systems in the country, and that could threaten food security long term. And we haven't really probably realized it, but isa
Correct.
talaga sa major na negative effect na ano ng climate change is the threat to food security. And nowadays it's very rampant. So I was thinking of, hopefully, if ever, given a chance, it's like getting we should help hand in hand. It's like getting
Correct.
ideas from different cities and then create it para maging available siya and feasible siya sa particular place. Example, here in my locality or in my hometown, it's a rural area. So of
Correct.
course you can't just grow uh, vegetables or food crops doon sa places. They have a lot of places, but in urbanized area, wala. So we can do like vertical planting or urban
Correct.
agriculture. Example, in
Mm.
Manila, medyo congested siya when it comes to buildings. So we can get that idea from the rural places, and we have a lot of buildings in Manila that are unused. So might as well use it as well.
Correct. Alam mo, I'm just gonna like point out something. No, this is a very important advocacy, Sandy, because I mean during the pandemic, I mean that was one indication of how problematic food security is in the Philippines. I
Yes.
mean, di ba? Just the mere fact na during the pandemic, like ilang months lang tayo nag-lockdown, di
Mm-mm.
ba?
Mm-mm.
Pero we are scrambling for food. We do not know where to
Yes.
get food
That's
because
true.
supplies are running out. I just want to point that out and I want to like ask your opinion on this one. Of course, we are still in the pandemic. Meron pa rin tayong
Mm-mm.
kinakaharap na COVID-19.
Mm-mm.
How do you intend to use to pursue your advocacy in the in light of what's happening right now during the time of COVID-19?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, during the early parts of COVID, I actually was able to also be part of just actually a smaller private group which gave donations to places na parang hindi naaabot ng mga food supplies. So
Mm-hmm.
that during that, I really realized that food security is not just about food production or yung source of food. It's more of also access of food, especially
Correct.
now, diba? It's not everyone, very minimal movement lang yung inaallow to go out. So here with this, we can actually grow plants or grow vegetables that we could eat in our places. As I've said, we can do vertical gardening, or some places na may place some spaces sa kanilang backyard, you can grow plants. I mean, like, we can go out, so might as well use this to create sustainable ideas for us to really maintain food security. And
Very.
honestly, it's not just about yung food security alone. It's also really educating them, showing them
Mm-hmm.
how it should be done.
Correct, correct. Kasi hindi naman natin alam kung ano talagang um, like proper ways of like solving food security. But then through
Yes.
the small initiatives that we do in our backyard, definitely we tend to worry about our own food, and then that actually is a weight off the shoulder of what's happening in the problem of food security in the Philippines. Sige, that's
Yeah.
very interesting. I'm gonna ask more about that, and I think the fans, of course, the fans are free to like ask their questions, react to what they're saying here. Very interesting ang mga sinasabi nila Miss Dumaguete and Miss El Nido Palawan about their lives and their advocacy. Now let's talk about advocacy naman ni El Nido Palawan. Okay, I'm interested to find out because again, paradise talaga ang El Nido Palawan. I'm dying to find out what is your advocacy for Miss Philippines Earth as a candidate this 2021.
Yes. Well, my advocacy is environmental and social sustainability towards responsible tourism. Well, responsible tourism, it's actually responsible towards nature, places, and spaces. To fully elaborate, the responsible towards nature, actually, yes, as we El Nidonians, we actually value our nature very much. And with that, we make frequent coastal cleanups and recycling activities so that our nature will still be just as it is that when the tourists would come and visit our place, our municipality. And responsible towards the places, I actually have this quote borrowed. This is that take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, and kill nothing but time. So that is our way, or my way, of telling the tourists on how to become a responsible individuals. And by spaces, this is actually from the pandemic, um, responsible towards spaces like social distancing. We This pandemic actually has took its toll on the tourism industry, especially here in El Nido. And we actually took this as an opportunity for El Nido to restart tourism into a more pliable, more responsible, and with more sustainable energy. So that in time our municipality will be literally a clean and green place to be.
Sabi ko maraming salamat Miss El Nido Palawan for sharing that. Ano din, very in line din sa iyong course and very in line din sa where you came from. I want to find out a little bit more. Allow me to delve a little bit more, Miss El Nido Palawan. Ano ba yung mga problems ng that El Nido Palawan is currently facing in terms of like sustainable tourism and ecotourism, so to say, like making sure that people are responsible tourists when they go to El Nido?
Actually, El Nido has been locked down before, just like the Boracay po, di ba? Because of the flow of the tourists in El Nido. And because of that, there has been a lot of garbage too that has been thrown anywhere. So we had this lockdown on El Nido so that our place can breathe, and can the garbage can be lessened. Oh, and actually we have this we have this garbage waste disposal that we made into energy by through the solar panels. It is actually been on under construction right now here at El Nido.
Oh,
Sir,
maybe
no.
maybe our internet is sir. So wow.
Tayo
Kaya
dalawa
nila
na.
muna. Yeah, I really wanted to go to El Nido talaga. But hopefully, no.
Ako rin, I really wanted to go to Dumaguete and because my memories are really vivid. Yes. Mm.
I never really had any idea na you also grew up in Dumaguete. Wow.
Uh, I was just actually born at Dumaguete.
Ah,
Yes. And
okay.
we lived there for some time lang.
Ah, I see.
So if you'll come here in El Nido, let me know. I'll show
Sige.
you myself.
Sige ha, promise.
Yes,
Same
promise.
thing. Balik ka ng Dumaguete.
Sige,
Ako yung maging tour guide mo.
go.
Sige nga, sige. I hopefully know when everything is okay na and we get to
Mm-mm.
travel. Exchange, ay not really exchange kasi kung exchange, wala ka
Walang
dyan pag pumunta ko.
walang magtutour sa atin.
Wala.
Yung
I
masaya,
think
ano, mm-mm,
your internet this year is really bad. So
not
thank you
stable.
naman. Thank you everyone for being with us here tonight. Oh, ako yung mag-interview.
Ayan,
Pwede
o
mo
di
ba?
ba? At naririnig ko kayo, in fairness to you ha, marunong kayo sumalo ng disruption sa hosting. Maraming salamat for keeping the conversation flowing. Napakaganda naman. Very, very good. Napakasaya naman. Sorry to all of our fans. Medyo nagkaroon lang ako ng slight problem with the internet connection. But then, of course, I'm already here. I'm back. I already listened. Of course, I listened to the sharing nila Miss Dumaguete and Miss El Nido Palawan, no? Let us like stretch that a little bit more, no, before we go to our next segment. Since you were already sharing na parang you would go to your specific provinces if the time and the restrictions would permit it. For example, ikaw Dana, you're going to bring si Sandy Si Sandy sa El Nido, Palawan, like 5 days straight. What would
Wow.
be the itinerary like para naman ma-experience ni Sandy ang full experience of being in El Nido, Palawan?
Okay, so 5 days. There's a lot of things that we could do in El Nido. It's very exciting. First of all, since Dumaguete, yes, and you're coming to El Nido, and El Nido is very known for its natural beaches. Yes, I will take you on an island tour on if on the lagoons. Yes, the lagoons is very popular here in El Nido. I will take you to the small lagoon, the big lagoon, and the secret lagoon. There's actually three lagoons. And then on the second day, if you want historical places, I could take you to Ili Cave. There's actually a lot of stories to tell in El Nido because since the civilization of the people actually started here in El Nido, and on the third day, um, I'll take you to a food trip. A
I
food
love
trip.
that.
Wow!
If you love seafood, allergic ka ba sa seafoods?
Oo.
Yun lang. Well, aside from seafoods, um,
Anything is good.
I'll take you to uh to to our local places where we could
Mm-hmm.
actually have just a little chit chat, talk
Mm-hmm.
about life, yes, and then just talk about the foods there in El Nido. We actually have a lot of food, especially the bulalo. I
Oh my
actually love the
God!
bulalo
Sarap!
yes, in the town. And then on the fourth day, um, if you want to go hiking or to want to see sceneries, yes, if you want to see the whole El Nido, I'll take you to the canopy. We have this canopy El Nido, yes, where we would go up the limestone cliffs, yes, and then at the top of it, you will see the whole view of El Nido.
Oh,
And
wow.
then
Mm.
on the fifth day, on the
Fifth
last
day.
yes, fifth day. Last day, actually, yes. The last day should be it should be very memorable.
Wow.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take you to the place where I'm really close at. Uh, and then I'll take you to it and let's have uh, a sightseeing or night the what do you call those things at the starry nights, yes, let's see the stars together and have a
Wow.
picnic
Wow!
under the stars at the side of the beach at Nakpan Beach, El Nido. Yes, I'll
Wow.
take you there. We actually also have there the um the camping sites, yes, there.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, before that night, actually, I'll take you first if there will be a chance that we could have a turtle hatchlings together.
Ah.
It would be a bucket list of
Wow!
hatchlings.
Yes.
Very very
Wow.
full length ang kanyang itinerary para sa iyo
Kaya nga.
Sandy.
Pressure
Now
naman ako.
correct. Yeah. So
Sorry, kasi since in tourism industry kasi we actually have those the itineraries kasi, di ba?
Nice.
We
It's
kaya
actually
they
nga,
taught us to
yes.
be very detailed much on the itineraries.
Correct.
But
Pero
I
pag na
actually not
mm,
detailed this very much.
correct.
Just a
Pero
little
actually
bit
parang
of sneak
napansin ko
peeks.
Sandy no na yung mga first part ng kanyang itinerary puro lagoon, going
lagoon.
to places, papagurin ka niya muna
Actually.
during the first few days. Tapos, papakainin ka na ng bulalo, ng maraming
Oo.
pagkain. Tapos,
Yeah.
relax na at the end. Which is,
Oo.
okay naman. Very nice. Alright? Sige, tingnan naman natin yung mga comments ng ating mga fans, no? Before I give naman the floor to Miss Dumaguete. Alright? Ayan, meron dito nagsabi kanina, host lang, Sandy. O, di ba? In fairness sa kanya. So, alam mo na, Sandy, kapag hindi ako available, ikaw na mag-host ng
Yes,
Miss
right.
Earth Crown interviews. Ayan, very, very good. Very, very prepared. Very, ready si Sandy to take on the job. All right, sige. Sandy, ikaw naman, what is going to be, siguro, very, very short lang. Like in
Uh-uh.
5 days, like
Uh-uh.
what can you plan for Dana as an itinerary in Dumaguete, knowing that she grew up
So
or she
already,
lived in
yeah.
Dumaguete.
Yeah. She told me she was born in Dumaguete, tama? And then after you transferred na, no? So ako baliktad. So I'm gonna start parang chill lang. When you arrive, of course, since pagod ka, do you love coffee?
I palpitate. I
Oh.
palpitate very hard.
Well, anyway, the moment you arrive, whether sa port ka or sa airport or whatnot, I'm gonna bring you to Rizal Boulevard. Kasi since you were born in Dumaguete, I believe hindi mo masyadong experience yung life of the Dumagueteños. And honestly, Boulevard is really where you should go, especially during in the afternoon, just to observe what Dumaguete life is. So I'm gonna bring you there, and along with it, we can go whether if you want to eat, there's a lot of restaurants along the boulevard and also coffee shops. So I'll bring you there. And after we have this Dakong Balay Art Gallery, it's a home for local artists in Dumaguete. So I'm gonna show you how creative and how talented Dumaguete when it comes to art. Of course, since Dumaguete is the gateway of the province of Negros Oriental, I don't want to be madamot. So I will tour you from south to north of Negros Oriental if kaya sa 5 days. So of course, to start our next day, I'm gonna bring you to the most beautiful church in Dumaguete, Saint Catherine of Alexandria. And of course, we will light a candle first before tayo mag-travel sa Bell Tower. So we'll pray there. And after, sa south, actually, there's a lot of beaches south from Dumaguete na parang unknown siya, and it's very local, but it's very beautiful. Of course, I'm gonna bring you to also Manhuyut, Sandbar. It's also, they say it's like the Maldives of Negros Oriental. And if you like waterfalls, we also have Niludhan Falls in Bayon City. And if you want parang painitan, or if you like yung mga kakanin, we can go to sa market or Changi ng Dumaguete City. And of course, lastly, before you go home, I will bring you to my home. Because of course, as I've said, I wanted to experience what Dumaguete and what Negros Oriental can offer, and that is its people, lastly. So for you to really wanted to go back, I will bring you and I will meet you, I will let you meet my friends and my family and just really have a good time and to get to know each other. And of course,
Yes.
papadalhan kita ng Silvanas.
Silvanas. Yes.
Wow. That's really great. Thank you so much, Ms. Dumaguete, for sharing it. Alam mo, ang daming comments. I mean, the comment section is actually popping right now. Yung mga tiga
Uh-huh.
Dumaguete, tiga El Nido, Palawan, my God, they are actually like reacting to the things that you were sharing na itinerary for each other. And right now, let me just note this. We are at 131 viewers tonight. Late
Wow.
tonight, 10 o'clock. So maraming salamat sa ating mga viewers. Ayan, meron dito si Kim Hamsirani. Is it your sister? Tama ba, Sandy?
Yes. Hello.
Ayan. Nawala daw ang microphone, kinain daw ni Dumaguete City. Yan. I should imagine, Kim, kung ano ang life ninyo together as like siblings.
Diba?
Like, yeah, correct. Very, very nice. All right. And of course, we also have like fans coming from different parts of the world. Allow me to read this one. This is coming from the United States.
Wow.
Raj Sambat, one of our correspondents for USA. Thank you so much
Uh-huh.
for watching. And Gab Galvez. Gab Galvez, our fellow pageant correspondent for Miss Earth Beauties. Maraming salamat. And girls, can we like greet Gab Galvez kasi birthday niya today or I think
Yes.
yesterday. Yes, let's greet Gab Galvez a happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday po,
Happy birthday po, Sir
Ayan.
Gab.
Maraming salamat, ladies. And of course, ang daming comments. The comments are just coming in ng hindi ko talaga alam kung ano ang gagawin ko. From Russia, just allow me to like flash some of the fan comments kasi sobrang dami. From Russia, go Dumaguete. Meron kang fan from Russia, o di ba?
O, diba?
Oh, medyo ano yun, medyo that's really interesting. Okay, also have here of course Laban El Nido. We all have a lot of like fans coming for El Nido as well. And of course, maraming salamat sa ating mga fans for tuning in and placing your comments in the comment section tonight. Ayan. So maraming salamat ladies for sharing that and having this chit chat like conversation interaction with one another. Now, before we move on to our last part of our session, which is actually the highlight. Okay, highlight ang ating segments for Miss Earth Crown's interviews. We are going to give the fans an opportunity if you haven't voted, okay? Since you have already heard our two candidates speak tonight about their lives, about their places, about their advocacy. Who are you rooting for tonight? Okay, meron po tayong voting on menti.com. Please type menti.com and I'm going to flash later in a little bit ang ating voting code because again, these ladies deserve all of the attention, all of the support coming in from all of the fans around the world. So show them in the voting in menti.com. All right? Sige. So now is the time for us to go to our last session, our last segment. Ito yung medyo kinakabahan ng ibang mga candidates for the past two episodes. But this is going to be a test of your environmental quotient, okay? And how well you know about the issues involving Mother Earth. Okay, so this is going to be our mini debate a la Miss Earth Crown. All right, so our topic for tonight is nuclear power as replacement for fossil fuels, yay or nay. Again, this is a very highly debated topic nowadays around the world. We want to hear our candidates from El Nido and Dumaguete what they think about this topic. The catch is, ang twist, we already assigned the sides that they will have to defend. All right? Si Dumaguete, si Sandy is going to defend the what side?
Nay.
The negative. And of course, si El Nido will defend the affirmative side. So, okay. So what's going to happen is it's going to be like a quick like a rapid fire drops of your statements, and then we are going to have like free flowing discussion at the end, a synthesis about this topic. So we're gonna start off with like an opening statement with, of course, El Nido Palawan. Doon muna tayo sa affirmative. All right, El Nido Palawan, the floor is yours. What can you say about nuclear power as replacement for fossil fuels?
Yes, nuclear power as replacement for fossil fuels. It is a yes, and it is beneficial, and it is for our country and our environment because as it is environment friendly nuclear power, and it doesn't really harm our environment. And with that, I really think and I really strongly believe that nuclear power as replacement for fossil fuels is very much a yay.
Okay. Now let's have the negative side. Sandy, what is your opening statement about this topic?
Nuclear power as a replacement for fossil fuels is denied. Well, energy is one of the necessities that we need to survive, especially day-to-day basis, like in our cities, homes, schools, or whatever it is. And it is a must for us to also think for the negative effects that it could give to the way of life and especially to our environment. And nuclear power has somehow definitely like disadvantages, which would include, of course, nuclear energy is very expensive. Nuclear energy really needs a larger amount of water compared to other sources of energy. And lastly, nuclear energy is not clean. It's not clean at all, and it's very harmful to our environment.
Right. So we heard your opening statements. I'm going to already give the floor to Dana. The floor is now yours. What can you say sa sinabi ni Sandy? Expensive daw ang nuclear power. It's not clean and it's not a sustainable option or alternative for fossil fuels. What can you say about that?
Well, yes. Did you know that actually Philippines has the three times much more higher price and electricity and more than in South Korea because the latter country actually has a nuclear power plant. So we with the nuclear power plant, we can actually have to lessen the poverty that are here in the Philippines. Because of this, we could also have much more less bills of electricity and less poverty in the Philippines. Yes, thank you.
There you go. Okay. Ang Korea daw, sabi ni Dana ay merong nuclear power kaya wala silang masyadong problema sa electric bill at wala silang problema sa expenses in terms of energy. What can you say about that, Sandy?
Well, probably it's true, but there's a but. I wouldn't wanna salvage the negative effects of our environment to the bills that we are paying. Imagine to fully produce nuclear energy, it needs larger amount of water compared to other sources of energies. And imagine right now, especially right now, we like some parts of the world are actually having crisis when it comes to fresh water. And nuclear power plants uses fresh water to fully produce nuclear energy. So I don't think it's still a good one.
All right. So again, I'm going to give the floor to each of you. Siguro like a short statement about what was said. Dana, anong masasabi mo dun sa last statement and then you can do your closing statement for this mini debate.
Well, yes, fossil fuels is very harmful in the environment, especially in the environment, because as it produces very carbon dioxide, and then it causes air pollution and water, especially, and also water pollution, and it has been those greenhouse effects, and it emits a lot of those carbon dioxide that causes the global warming.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So is that your closing statement, Dana?
No. Well, my closing statement is actually that uh, well, yes, nuclear power plant is very beneficial. It is also necessary and it is also very practical. And we really need a nuclear power plant to lessen the poverty here in the Philippines. And it is as it is a environmentally friendly, and with that we can cause less global warming. It can cause less air pollution, water pollution, and the greenhouse effects. And with I know that it costs a lot, but we really need to we really need to invest a lot for it, so that we could have a better future for our future generations to have and to live in this place with a more safer and with more natural place that they could, especially the air that they could breathe. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that is the closing statement. The floor is now yours, Ms. Dumaguete. What is your last statement for this topic?
Nuclear power plants, it's to build it is actually very expensive. It's very expensive and it's very actually inefficient, I would say. And then there is the problem. Yes, it does not produce gaseous emissions that could harm the environment, but it does produce radioactive waste. And radioactive waste can actually remain thousands of years. Imagine how it could harm the environment. Plus, the billions of money just to construct power plants, it could even be used for better usage, example, for the betterment of the environment, or use it to provide jobs so that it could increase the number of employments, especially here in the country. It's not all countries that could afford power plants. And like honestly, if you're going to come to think of it, probably fossil fuels. It could the carbon dioxide is actually the coal produces carbon, which is the number one emitters of carbon when it comes to the world. So using nuclear energy is definitely somehow still a threat to our Earth and to the entire country, as mentioned. Like nuclear energy is not clean at all. It's very expensive. And lastly, it could produce radio-based active.
Right. There you go. And now, I'm gonna close the mini debate. Maraming salamat. Virtual applause naman sa ating dalawang candidates. Thank you so much, Miss El Nido Palawan and Miss Dumaguete City for that substantial discussion about nuclear power as replacement for fossil fuels. Actually, maraming comments talaga doon sa ating discussion. Hindi ko na talaga nababasa because nagpa-flood na talaga siya nowadays. Hindi ko na siya makita. But then, thank you so much also to the fans for your active participation in the comment section. There you go. So if you liked either Dumaguete City or El Nido Palawan and their answers and their statements about the topic that we chose for tonight's episode. Again, if you want to vote for them, I'm gonna drop later the menti.com link voting code for you to vote if you're Team El Nido Palawan or Team Dumaguete City. And now we are going to open the floor to some of your questions right now. So again, to all of the fans, now is the time for you to ask your questions. I am now looking at the comments box or the comments section for your questions right now. Sana may mga pumasok na. Let's see this one. Okay, that's how it's being done. Well done daw, Dumaguete. Ayan.
Thank you.
Sabi ng iyong sister as well. Again, fans, if you have questions coming in,
Number one
please. Di ba na number one fans? All right. Okay, this is a question coming from Winona Amigo. All right. Si Winona Amigo has a follow-up question to our discussion a while ago. Ayan. Let me just read that. Sana hindi mag-flow ang mga comments. Dahil nagpo-flow siya, hindi ko na siya maklik. Okay. Winona Amigo would like to ask this question to the both of you. All right. So she would like to ask, when I see the question, there you go. Nasaan ba yun? Okay. Sorry guys, talagang yung mga, ayan, there. Okay, Winona Amigo would like to ask this question. What would be the effect if we will use the nuclear power as a replacement for fossil fuel to the ozone layer? I'm gonna throw this question dun sa ating nay or sa ating negative side. Ms. Dumaguete, ano ba, what is your take on this one? What is the effect to the ozone layer?
As I've said earlier, yes, nuclear energy does not produce gaseous emissions that could harm the environment, but indirectly it could still harm our ozone layer and our environment since it produces radioactive waste. And radioactive waste actually stays in the environment thousands of years. Even the Chernobyl incident, there are still researchers who said that the fallout are still in it even up until now. And imagine how long has it been since the Chernobyl accident?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, ano lang, it's just like yesterday na nangyari siya ulit,
Yeah.
di ba? So that's something that we need to like consider in this decision. Now, I'd like to ask naman on the other side of the coin naman, si Dana. Okay? If ever ang nuclear power is not really a viable option or alternative for fossil fuels, what do you think is like the better or the, if not the best option that we have right now na pwede nating explore in terms of energy in the Philippines?
Well, yes, as the nuclear power, yes, it emits. It doesn't emit and it doesn't burn anything here, and uh, it could also, yes, I actually believe that it could also harm our ozone layer because of that the Chernobyl disaster that has happened. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, the radioactive waste of it, it's very harmful not just to the plants, to the animals, but also to the environment. And so
Mm-hmm.
uh, with that, I really think that we should also have those responsible and to have people that are very much that knows on how to deal with it, on how to deal with
Mm-hmm.
the nuclear powers energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There. Thank you so much for that. Parang in-extend natin yung debate, no? So I'm gonna cut that
Yeah.
already. I have here another question. So ito, different naman ito. Allow me to already like in advance flash this one kasi yung mga comments talaga nagpo-flow. Si Clint Sefi, maybe I can rephrase this a little bit, no? Because it's the tone is kind of medyo ano no, medyo different. But I want to find out what is your stand about President Duterte? Not really forcing. Let's use another word. Um,
Encouraging.
encourage highly or highly encouraging. Okay, highly encouraging the Filipino people to get a vaccine. Okay, this was discussed in one of our episodes before. Ano yung sa tingin ninyo? Is there is there supposed to be like a freedom in terms of like choice if they want to like take the vaccine or kailangan magpa-vaccine talaga whatever the brand is. Let's start off with ano si Miss El Nido Palawan this time.
Well, yes, we actually have our freedom of choice when it comes to getting a vaccine. And there's a lot of people too that who doesn't want to get a vaccine. But for me, I actually also want to get a vaccine now because of this COVID. And it's really hard to move, especially for those people who have a job. Yes, and by taking the vaccine, it is very efficient for us, including me, for them, including me, that having vaccinated. I know that it is still not actually 100% that we still couldn't get the virus, but with that, it's also a plus safety on how we could fight the COVID by getting vaccinated.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much for that. Si ano naman, si Sandy, what is your take on that?
Actually, this topic is quite sensitive, and especially nowadays, no? Especially na
Mm.
maraming nag-argue if they wanted to get the vaccine or not, and also other others were arguing what kind of brands of the vaccine should one get. And for me, honestly, this one, well, they've really spent lots of money for us to be safe. That's for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
you cannot really force someone to get vaccinated with a particular or brand whatnot because it is this is our body and this it's actually our choice if we want to
Mm-hmm.
get vaccinated or not. And because if one will force you to get the vaccine and something will happen to you, who will you sino yung parang who will you sino who will you point the finger to? No one. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what President Duterte just wants is that as the father of the Philippines, he just really wanted us to be safe and safe from coronavirus so that
Mm-hmm.
also parang we will not really back to normal, but everything will be safer, I guess. But as I've said, since the vaccine is not yet 100% positive, not you cannot get the COVID
Mm-hmm.
again or
Mm-hmm.
not. So you
Yeah.
can't really force anyone to be vaccinated or not. It's a
Yeah.
personal choice, I would say.
Correct. Yeah. I agree at some point with what you mentioned because again, it's really a matter of like choosing what you think is the best for your body, for your well-being, right? But at the same time also
Mhm.
kailangan din nating isipin na of course, if you're not going if you're going to choose not to take the vaccine, you will have to make sure that you are doing the other things that will make sure that you're not going to spread or not going to like contract the virus and like spread it to other people, right? So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
basically it. Okay. Let's have another question here. Ang daming questions coming from the fans. Ito si, how do you say this name? Yoji de Gracia Diaz III. To Miss Dumaguete, who do you think is more responsible for pollution? Individual people or the government? And explain. I think nag-freeze ata. Si Miss Dumaguete, no? Sige, while we're waiting for her, medyo nag-ano lang, nag-tilt ng kanyang um, ang ating mga camera. Siguro I can ask this question kay Dana. All right. Dana, what do you think is, who is more responsible for pollution, individual people or the government? And explain your answer.
Yeah, well, yes, I believe that it is the individual people who is more responsible for pollution because the government actually has been making a lot of things just to have our environment to make our environment much more
Mm-hmm.
cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
and with uh, it also needs a lot of help from the people. So the people is actually very much needed when it comes to protecting and conserving our nature, because the manpower, yes, the,
Mm-hmm.
the people's their what do you call their support or is very much needed when if we really wanted to make our place better and safe, and
Mm-hmm.
so that with that actually we are actually, yes, the stewards of God's creation,
Mm-hmm. Correct.
so
Correct.
really need to help protect and to conserve our environment.
There you go. That's well said. Thank you so much, Miss El Nido Palawan. Ako si Miss Dumaguete, hindi na ata. Sandy, if you can try to come back because we are in the last stretch of our interview. Saan makabalik ka para sa yung final word? Thank you so much for answering that question. Of course, meron tayong mga comments coming here. Address ko lang, no? Sabi nila, we should avoid political issues for the girls para hindi sila mabash. Yes naman, I agree. That's why I rephrased it. I rephrased the question para naman hindi political ang dating. It's just more of like an administration choice or administration decision from the Duterte. Kaya I kind of changed the question para hindi masyadong maging political ang kulay. All right? But then of course, these are things that we need to talk about because they are going to be there you go, the spokesperson for Miss Earth and the organization. At bumalik na si Sandy and she's back.
San-
There you go.
Hi.
Internet ko
Ayan.
po, sorry.
Yes, okay, no problem. Nakatilt ka kanina a little bit. All right, all right. So there you go. So I think that would be the final question coming from the fans right now. Maraming salamat again to all of the fans for sending in your comments in the comment section. And before we have the final word for tonight from our ladies for Miss Philippines Earth episode 4, if you are if you liked, okay, let me just share this one, no? If you like what you heard and what you've seen so far in this live stream, please show your support for our candidates tonight by voting for them in our menti.com poll of the day. I'm gonna share here our menti.com stream para malaman naman natin kung ano ang so far ang ating numbers coming from the fans tonight. Again, this is one way of like showing our support sa ating favorite candidate for Miss Philippines Earth 2021. Let me just, there you go. Nakikita ba there? This is going to be our menti.com poll of the day for Miss Earth 2021. Nakikita ba natin? There you go. As you can see, which team are you? Are you for Team Dumaguete City or El Nido Palawan? So far, the fans are feeling Dumaguete City, but of course, hahabol naman si Miss El Nido Palawan. Again, this is only for fun, just to make
Yeah, of
sure that
course.
we are giving the support to all of our candidates for their amazing work and their amazing job during our interviews. Again, please key in the code 848347 and then type menti.com so you can vote for Team Dumaguete City or Team El Nido Palawan. There you go. All right, so this is now the conclusion. Has been a great discussion, a great
Yeah.
conversation with the two of you. Um, uh, all of the fans, let's give naman a virtual clap. Si Caveman Films, clap, clap, clap. Ayan, palakpak daw. Now, I'd like to hear your short last word, final message to all of our fans and maybe like an invitation to what's going to happen next in Miss Philippines Earth 2021. Starting off with Miss El Nido Palawan. Take it away, Dana.
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank my family for always being there for me since day one. Thank you for supporting me. And for my team, Mr. Robert Gonzalez, my handler, my makeup artist, Russell Daigo, my social media manager, Miss Nino Terry Dumagan, Sir Art Kayanan of Hotel Centro, and Mr. Sir J, Sir J, and of course Sir Norman, and um, also my photographer, Kuya Neil Estefano, and to my supporters, thank you for supporting me, and I hope that you would still support me in this journey and until the end. And of course, I would like to invite everyone to please watch and support us on our upcoming activities on July 3 and 4. There will be a long gown competition and also the beauty of face. It's a prejudging a beauty of face. And also, please vote me on the ecosystem app, El Nido Palawan. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Miss El Nido Palawan. And of course, let's have now the final word coming from Miss Dumaguete City. Maybe like a short final message and invitation to what's going to happen next in Miss Philippines Earth. The floor is yours.
Yes. Well, first of all, I really wanted to thank everyone who's been there for me since day one. My family, mama, papa, my brother, and my very supportive sister. My team, Tito Larry, Tito Ding Dong, Tito Jerry, the whole Dumagata team, Tito Winona, and of course the Bayowanuans also. To everyone who's been supporting me from north to south of the province of Negros Oriental, Basay, Santa. Thank you all so much for being there for me. Honestly, even if this is just a virtual one. It's also not easy, but with all of you, like really having my back, it's really a great push for me to really move forward with everything, no matter how hard it may get. This is not just for me, but this is for all of us. So thank you so much again, Ryan, Tita Ron. Thank you very much, Jarek also, and of course. Like what Miss Alido said, we still have our long gown, our body, poise, and form competition also, cultural. So please don't forget to vote for us, Miss Alido and Miss Dumaguete also, and to all of us, please support us and of course pray for us always. Also, I just want to also thank the Bio One's Tourism Department, the Mayor's Office, and also Dumaguete. To our mayor, sir, thanks so much. Also, Ma'am Jackie, and of course, Darren for being so supportive. Thank you, everyone. Everyone, thank you, and be safe. Be safe.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ended another episode for Miss Philippines Earth 2021. Our coverage on Miss Earth Crown. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Miss El Nido Palawan and Miss Dumaguete City. Maraming salamat, ladies, for being here on a Sunday evening. Medyo late na, but look here. We are still 172 viewers
Yeah.
strong. Maraming salamat sa ating mga
Thank you.
viewers. And of course, this is not the end. We still have a lot of candidates coming up in our next episodes for Miss Earth Crown's interviews for Miss Philippines Earth. Once again, this is your host, Noy Sabelano, for Miss Earth Crown, saying stay safe and have a great evening, everyone. Maraming salamat po.
Night.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye!
Stay
Bye.
Thank
safe.
Thank
you!
you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Sir Noy.
Thank you,
Thank you, Sir
ladies.
Noy.